Hi, Bill. How are you?
Good. It's good to see some of your faces again. It's
Trying to
been a
turn my
while.
camera on so you can actually see it. There we are.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Obviously, you guys added a rookie quarterback to the mix here. I'm curious, as a coordinator, when you look at the layers to his skill set, what excites you the most about all the different things that he brings?
Oh, I think we're like all the guys that come in. It's easy to think about the physical skill sets. It's easy to think about what his record was in college. I mean, the guy to me is you have 2 years as much as you could in the kind of crazy year that 2020 was. You have 2 years of really proven production. And so as a coach, you just always feel a challenge with that. Okay, now what can I do? What can I do? How can I help him maximize his ability? And it's just kind of all open. It's a little harder, Dan, to have the meeting before you get your hands on him.
I'm curious what you saw. Obviously, athletically, he's so gifted, but there seemed to be a concentrated effort the last 2 years to really refine himself as a pocket passer. I'm curious what you noticed from that standpoint.
Oh, I think he's a passer. I really do. And yeah, I think that's, I mean, to me, this is the NFL, and that's what excites you is when the guy can pass, and every guy brings a different skill set, and I know it's very popular right now to talk about moving quarterbacks and such, but I also know that as an organization, we work really hard on getting a whole offense full of skill players. And you not only do you want your quarterback to make some first downs with his legs, you also like him to be really good at getting the ball to everybody else, right? Because you invest a lot in the rest of the offense. So um, I don't know. I'm excited to just see how it all ticks, and how does it look when it's under pressure? How does it look uh, when he's in a good rhythm? How does it look after a mistake? All those things that you deal with on the development of a quarterback. And then when you're in the coordinator seat, okay, you just have a lot of juggling to do with how does it all mix into the system.
Pat Finley?
Hey, Bill, how are you?
Fantastic.
You guys have been super clear about Andy Dalton starting and wanting to take your time getting Justin ready. But is there a fine line to walk between stating those expectations and wanting Justin to think, hey, if you pick this up quickly and if you do well, you can start? And how will you walk that line?
Oh, I think Justin's got to handle how he thinks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a big guy. He's a grown up. He's competed his whole life. Um, I mean, I'm going to treat it, and this is going to sound probably, you're going to think I'm making this up, okay? Uh, I'm 100% serious when I say this. I'm going to treat it like I was coaching the 8th grade team. I mean, what's the best thing for the team?
Mhm.
And at the same time, you try to help each guy get to be as good as he possibly can be. But I mean, what is the very best thing to win games? It is real easy in our world to lose that perspective. And I've worked for some people, and one in particular, who would just remind us, what would you do if you're a coach in the 8th grade team? Because really, it should be that simple. I know it doesn't seem it all the time, but what's the best way for us to win games? And that's, and that's, I think that's why we are where we are, and that's why we're fired up. I mean, in same perspective, is a matter of perspective. Just like we told Nick and Andy, in our mind as coaches, when we signed Andy Dalton, it was like a first round draft pick. And last year when we traded for Nick, to us that was a first round draft pick. I mean, we're excited about the guys that we have, but we're going to do the best thing for the team. And I think it'll when you see them walk out and we watch practice, it'll be clear that's our goal. To me, like I'm not real um, hard to figure out. That's how I roll.
Is there one thing you need to, or you'd like to see Justin do on Friday, just kind of in the first practice?
Oh, just we nothing different than any other quarterback. Hey, let's uh, let's be show me what an NFL passer looks like. timing, decisions, accuracy, adjust to things that change. I mean, all those things that an NFL passer has to do. Let's see how we look. It'll be fun.
Colleen King.
Hey, Bill, having worked with Andy previously, how do you think he'll handle the dynamic of having Justin in the quarterback's room with him? And how do you see him, maybe helping in the development of Justin?
Well, I mean, I guess you have to talk to Andy about how he'll approach it. The guy is a pro, and the guy is here to help win games. I mean, the responsibility to me of the younger players, the new players, whatever level they come in with, is to figure out who among the veterans should I be watching, right? And that's their job, I think, as young guys. I mean, if all the veterans do the very best job they can of being pros and being the best player they can be, it should be clear to the young guys, hey, I need to pick up some of what that guy's doing. So to me, that's not on the veterans. That's on the young guys to figure out who I need to emulate.
Mark Potash.
Hey, Bill. How would the coordination of the offense be different if Justin Fields were your day one starter? Is there, there a difference between him and Andy as far as how you coordinate this offense? Looking ahead, frankly, to a possible transition, which seemed kind of herky-jerky with Mitch to Nick to Mitch last year. Is there a way to set yourself up so you don't kind of have those issues if that ensues this year?
I'll recognize it was a very layered question, and it had a little bit of opinion mixed in. But I would say, Mark, to me, the job in we've addressed this, to be clear, you focus the offense in the NFL on the starting quarterback, and that's what you do. And everything is built around utilizing the abilities of that player for us to be successful on offense and to win. I mean, that's got to be clear. And then our job as coaches, and some of it is me, a lot of it is John DeFilippo, some of it is Coach Nagy, is to make sure if you aren't the starter, that not only are you getting developed in the things that we're doing offensively, in case, let's say, you have to go in mid-game, but you also are developing what your strengths are. I'll give you an example. Two different times I've coached where the starting quarterback was a lefty. And this is in the NFL. And we had certain plays that we only ran one way because of the fake and then the way the left-handed quarterback was going to roll out. And so the backup in both cases, I was the quarterback coach, was a righty. And so I had to have him practice faking and rolling to his left and turning all the way around, which we wouldn't do if he was the starter. But then on the side, I would always practice with him the other way. I wouldn't do it with the lefty the other way. Okay, someday when you're the starter, we're going to fake this way and you're going to roll this way and set up. It's going to be easier. But so I needed to have him ready mid-game to go in. And then I also had to have him ready developing when it was his turn and he was going to do it the other way. Nick Foles was one of the backups. In 2013 New York Giants, he went in, faked to the right, rolled all the way to the left, flips his hips around and threw a touchdown to Brent Selleck in the end zone against the Giants. So that was an example with left-handed and right-handed, but that's really what you do all day long is you be ready to, if you're the backup, be ready to go in and play. And then let's keep developing you on the side. That's, it's a lot. It is a lot. Flip will be up late at night.
Thank you.
Mark Grody.
Hi, Bill. Back to your treating it like coaching eighth graders, that analogy you made, and doing whatever you have to do to win. Does that mean
doing the best thing to win?
Doing the best
yeah,
thing.
You're right. You're right, though. Whatever you have to do, as long as you don't get caught. I guess you're right.
I got you.
I'm sorry.
It's all processing. It's all processing. Is it possible, that said, and I don't know if this is not in your purview because Matt Nagy is going to decide who's the starting quarterback, but is it still possible, per your conversations with Matt Nagy, that Justin Fields could be the day one starter, or has that been ruled out?
I agree with you. That's in Matt's area.
That's it.
Good try. Good try. I was waiting for someone to get a follow-up on the 8th grade team, by the way. That was good.
Sure, all right.
Bill, this weekend, having Justin Fields physically able to see him, what he can do, what are some of the intangibles you're interested in seeing right away from him?
Well, the basic quarterback intangibles like leadership, communication, sense of urgency, just see a guy get in and out of the huddle. I mean, those are normal. And then it just kind of starts, okay, that's where he is in all these areas. Now we address them and help him get better. And then you also have kind of your list of, I've seen this guy really throw the ball down the field. Let's see what it looks like in person. I've seen this guy do, and you kind of have your list of things that are kind of more, personal, just curiosities, I guess, a little bit. But we'll try real hard to evaluate. This is where he is day one. It's not our first time doing it, so we don't freak out about the really good or the really bad. If you see really good, you might want to react to it. You try to hold that back, you know what I mean, and just let it play out. Understand your perspective on, okay, day one can look certain ways, but we know what the end is. We know what we're aiming for, and we know there are a lot of ways to get there, and it's our job to find the best way to get each guy there, and we just really won't treat Justin any differently.
Dan? Bill, you ever had an 8th grader hold out for more money?
Sometimes they don't show up and you got to call their house and stuff, and you don't know. My wife taught middle school for years, and I think I did a substitute teaching once when I was a part-time coach to make a little extra money, and I had to go to middle school, and I came home, I said, I can't believe that you like coaching that age. Like that would not be my cup of tea, that age. So I say 8th grade, middle school. A friend of mine always used to dream about coaching Jones Junior High. So, but I should probably set a different age group. No, we like dealing with adults, and usually we get to.
You obviously you got 2 new quarterbacks, some new offensive linemen, Damien in the backfield, and evolving receiving core. In this next sort of 5-week range where you have the potential to be on the field with as many guys who voluntarily show up, what is important about this next phase of making sure that you guys build a bridge to training camp?
Well, I can talk very specifically about what we've done so far. Obviously it's been on Zoom meetings, is known, widespread knowledge. We started with covering what we felt like we needed to cover from last year. And for the new guys like Andy in the quarterback room as example, that's introduction as well as review. So that happens at the same time. And then we a lot of that is done separately so that the guys can get specific individualized coaching. As a coordinator, I can kind of go in and out of a lot of those meetings and see how they go. Our coaches are doing a great job. This week, we transitioned more towards getting the groups together. Everything from the quarterback's line and running backs being in a position where they can talk about pass protection, quarterbacks and receivers together. They can talk about routes, quarterbacks and tight ends together. And so I just mentioned that for the perspective. In last year, right, it was different. We weren't all prepared for the kind of off season we had to have. But now we feel like we're better off. What we can do this time of year is really build the offense into something. I don't know that anyone that was here last year feels good about what the final numbers and production was. We can all point out days we were maybe good with and certain parts here and there. I'm not going to say that there weren't any bright spots, but when you take an honest look at it, we need to be better. And part of what we've begun doing is get the guys together, get them talking, get them on the same page, build it. I mean, to me, that's the greatest challenge of running an NFL offense, is start at the beginning, the first days that you can be in the meeting room together, be on the grass together, and this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it, this is how it fits together. Then when you're in a spot where you have veteran guys who you trust, I'll give you an example. Today, listening to Jimmy Graham talk with Andy Dalton today about how they were going to, he saw certain routes and the way he in the past has approached it. And then Andy saying, hey, that sounds great, you know, and just having veteran guys that you trust be able to build that together so that when you show up on the grass, it looks better. You know, that to me, that's the challenge, but it's also the best part about being, you know, being someone who runs an NFL offense. And obviously I'm here to help Coach Nagy do that. And so that's where we are. When we get guys in person, obviously it accelerates. All of it accelerates because you're on the grass together. Hopefully at some point you can be in a meeting room together where the communication is easier. You can see body language, you know, nonverbal cues, all those things that are important to human interaction. So we've begun, Dan, like you talked about the next 5 weeks. I think we've begun in how we can. And I'm really fired up because, you know, we kind of got our jaw set on getting this thing improved.
We have time for one more, Pat.
All right. So when you're coaching an 8th grader, he's going to go to high school the next year and he's out of your hands. I know you're going to do what's best for the team, but does long-term development play a role into trying to do what's best for the Bears in 2022 and 2023? And how do you mesh that when we're talking about Justin?
I probably think more of a responsibility to the development of the player.
Okay.
Like, and I've talked to Justin about that. But with as a coach, I think you feel you know, personally, I feel personal responsibilities to these guys. Again, I like working with adults, but I think you can still affect people's lives, you know, in all seriousness. And so I try to have a responsibility to affect their lives in a positive way. Number one, outside of football. Number two, I want them to feel like I also have their best interest in mind. Even if the decision I have to make or the opinion I have to give to Matt and Ryan on personnel decisions, it's got to start with what's the best thing for us to winning games. But at the same time, I want, hopefully I've built a trust with them that they also know that I have their personal development as a player in mind, and that I'm going to help them as best that I possibly can. And I think the thing that I learned when you come to this league from college is, you know, especially when you're a young coach, well, how's it going to be dealing with some guys that are the same age as you, right? The first time I was an NFL quarterback coach, the quarterback was actually older than me by just a little bit. Okay. And so how do you get them to listen to you? Like, all these things go through your mind. And a friend who had predated me joining the NFL told me, hey, start by, you know, coaching the young guys with exactly what you know. And you just, as soon as you show them that you can help them be better, that you can make them a better player, like that, the bond, the trust, it all falls into place, and it's just coaching. And so I hope that they know, and I've described that to Justin, but I hope that they know that I have their best interest as a player in mind also, and that I take responsibility in helping them develop. And, you know, there's only so many things you can focus on at once. So I let them know I care about them as a person, do what I think is best for the team to win, and then hopefully they can feel that I'm trying to help them become a better player. And I really think then the development, if I can be focused on those three things, then I got to trust that the big picture is going to take care of itself. And, you know, I can only focus on so much.
All right, that's all we have time for today. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.